Yo, welcome back to the GM Podcast. I'm Miller, and today we're doing something a little different. All right. We have Miller's 8 levels of greatness. All right. This is basically just going to be a tier list of NFL teams and where I think they are right now. If you think I got this idea from someone else, you're wrong. All right. You're wrong. And we're also going to have 5 picks for you guys, which if you think I got that from someone, you're definitely off your rocker. But, yes, that's what we will be doing. We will be breaking down a tier list that I have made, 8 levels of greatness. There's 32 teams in the NFL, right? What's 32 divided by 8 guys? 4. So 4 teams are going to be in each tier. There's no in every tier. There's not going to be a different number of teams. There's going to be the number 1 tier and then the number 8 tier and then 4 teams in each one, right? So let's get straight into this thing. I know you guys are tired of me talking. I came red do-rag today because I'm feeling dangerous. And yeah, let's get straight into this thing, man. All right, first level. We got consistently poop. I titled this consistently poop because they are consistently poop. All right, we have the New Orleans Saints. Right now, we have no clue what their direction is. I do like their hire of an offensive coach in Kellen Moore. Maybe if they get some better personnel around him, he could be special. But as of right now, I see no world in this stacked NFC where they go anywhere. And they are the only team, obviously, in the NFC on this tier. We have the New York Jets. Wow, do they look trash every week. Their defense is nothing to really brag about. Obviously, Garrett Wilson, their best player at this point, has been out for the majority of the year. No quarterback optimism, in my opinion. Offensive line, I mean, it's just horrible. The Raiders, people thought they were going to be good coming into the year. They might be maybe the worst team on this list as far as a watch. I've had games where the Saints and Jets have at least been fun. I can't recall the Raiders game other than week 1 where they looked anywhere near watchable. Then we got the Tennessee Titans. You obviously have a young quarterback, unlike the rest of these teams. Well, Tyler Shough is not a young quarterback. Actually, he's old. And Cam Ward is actually kind of old, too. But, horrible. I mean, Tennessee this year is worse than Tennessee was last year. And it doesn't look like any progress to me. Their skill group is absolutely atrocious. So, yeah, that is the first tier, consistently poop. Moving on to the second tier, we have just can't win games. Can't win games. Some of these teams are fun. Some of them aren't. But they regardless of how good they look on paper, regardless of what scheme they put in, it seems like these teams can always never find a way to win the game. We have the Cleveland Browns. All right. One of the best defenses for the past half decade, right? Myles Garrett is probably the best defensive player in the league with 19 sacks right now. You would think he's going to break the sack record. Honestly, I think they play Tennessee this coming week. He could do it in that game, but he probably won't. He'll probably get it around, I'm thinking it's week 14. He'll probably get it around week 16 is what I'm thinking. So Cleveland is right there. Obviously, offensively, they have no skill guys to brag about. Well, their running back, Quinshon Judkins, is a good young player. And I honestly think this Cleveland team, if they get the explosive part right and the quarterback right, they can be pretty good. But historically, they haven't been able to do that. Miami is here. Can't win games. They've won 5 of them, actually. They're 5-7. They're beating up on the cupcakes like they've always done in the Tua Mike McDaniel era. But when it comes to winning games that actually matter, the Miami Dolphins are absolutely pros at not doing that. All right. The Atlanta Falcons. On paper, I thought this team was going to have a winning record before the season. Not even close, guys. Not even close. Kirk Cousins is absolutely shot. There's nothing redeemable about watching him. Michael Penix obviously hurt for the year. Their skill guys are actually pretty special, in my opinion. And they just, I don't know what it is about them that they just lose games that you would expect them to win. And I think they won a couple games at the beginning of the year that you expect them to lose. So Atlanta, I would hate to be an Atlanta Falcons fan. I think that might be a bottom 5 fan base to be a fan of in the league because in Tennessee, you really don't have expectations. So I don't know, man. It's atrocious. But then we have the New York Giants, who I would say out of all the teams on this tier is actually the funnest right now. And they have the worst record. I believe they're 2-11. But looking ahead, if their 2 guys, their 2 white boys in the backfield can get their head together and always not, just go headfirst into whatever wall they're looking in front of, they might be pretty explosive with Neighbors, Skatibo, or Scattaboo, however you say it, Jackson Dart. Wan'Dale Robinson all of a sudden looks like, I don't even know. I mean, he looks pretty special. And then you have some more offensive skill guys. You obviously have a great left tackle. On paper, a great defense. I haven't seen it this year, But yeah, man, I also believe they can be special in the future. So this tier isn't, the most. Some of these teams, it looks like they're in the upward trajectory. Some of them looking down. Next tier, can we please get to next year? All right, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Right, I know you guys are like the third worst bottom tier. They're a bottom 12 team, 6-6. We're leading the division. Don't care. All right, I've been saying that since I think Big Ben retired. This is an atrocious team to watch. When I turn on this team, I want to turn the game off right away. I had some hope for the Bills and Steelers this past weekend. It was an atrocious game. The Steelers offensively, the past half decade, have been one of the most atrocious teams to watch in the National Football League. Don't care what you say. Defensively, they're not good right now at all. Especially having the highest paid defense in football. They're just not good. So they want to get to next year, and I guess I just titled that. The reason I titled the tier that was because I looked at the other three teams and it actually fell, under that name. But I don't know what the Steelers are really looking forward to next year. They're still old. So I guess they're just looking forward to their next regime and them being good again, because right now it's stale. Mike Tomlin, his operation is stale. Let's move on, Pittsburgh. Arizona in this tier. I honestly think Arizona has been playing decent football. They're just not talented enough to win against, once again, the NFC. It's like they're in a tier over the Saints and the Giants right now as far as how good they are as a football team. And right there with the Vikings, in my opinion, where they have guys, but just overall, it's something that they cannot put together, and it's quarterback, honestly. Just not that Jacoby Brissett has been bad, but there's no stability there. Commanders, obviously, can we get to next year? Can Jaden Daniels stay healthy a full year? And can we get back into the playoffs? It's as simple as that. And then the Minnesota Vikings, they're going to go into the free agent market looking for a quarterback, whether that be Mac Jones, Jameis Winston. I can't really think of any other names right now, but I would love to see Jameis go to Minnesota. If you're telling me Jameis can't win them more games than J.J. McCarthy, probably double their win total than J.J. McCarthy and Max Brosner, who had the worst quarterback debut of all time last Sunday. I don't know. Let's get Jameis to Minnesota. But yeah, all of these teams, can we get to next year? Next year. Low-key playoff sleepers, right? Low-key playoff sleepers. I'm going to start with Baltimore. Baltimore benefited from having a good title because they weren't bad enough to be on the tiers below, but they also weren't good enough to be on the tiers above. And they kind of fall into this because if they do get into the dance, you're still not going to want to play Lamar Jackson. That's just what it is, Not that he's been great in the playoffs, but it's Lamar Jackson, so we will have to see. Cincinnati. Why do I have them in low-key playoff sleepers? Aren't they pretty much eliminated? No, they're not. With the way the Ravens have been playing, they still have a Patriots game left, and they still have a Bengals game left. So if the Bengals win out, and I know we say this every year, but to be quite honest, my favorite quarterback that I've watched in the past 10 years is probably Joe Burrow, and I will continue to believe in Joe Burrow until he shows me that he cannot play football anymore. So I think they're a low-key playoff sleeper, and if they get in the dance, once again, we've been saying this for the past 3 years, they're dangerous. Jacksonville, I know my Jags fans are going to hate that I have them this low. There are a lot of good teams in football, guys, and they're actually leading their division right now, and the reason I have them as a low-key playoff sleeper is because I just feel like they have a lot of low-key explosive players. Low-key explosive players. Do I trust their quarterback in a big spot? No, I don't. All right, and that's why they're kind of this low. Obviously, a first-year head coach as well. I don't think their roster is as good as the other two teams above them in their division, but I do think they've been very opportunistic with wins, and I think their culture is changing. So props to Jacksonville. And same thing with Carolina. Carolina probably won't get in a dance based off the schedule. I don't think they're that much worse of a team than Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay is more experienced. But as far as a team, I don't think they're that far off. And then if they get in a dance, they have the formula of a winning football team that could win in the later stages of the season. They can run the ball defensively. They have two premier players in Derek Brown and J.C. Horn. Lock up your best guy and go get after your quarterback on the interior. And like I said, they run the ball. They got explosive outside skill players. If Bryce Young is a gamer, which we will learn once he gets to the playoffs or another primetime game, maybe they can do something this year. Next tier. Actually, I got to stop saying tier. Next level of greatness. All right. Locks to afterthoughts. All right. Locks to afterthoughts. The reason I titled it this, when we looked at it at the beginning of the year, these teams were all, they're going to make it. They're going to make it. All right. A lot of these teams now, we're having questions. Actually, all of them. All right, so we look at Detroit. they have a game this Thursday where if they lose to Dallas, it's not looking good, guys. They're probably going to miss the playoffs. Straight up as that. First off, if they're losing all these games and they get to 7-6, you can't expect them to win 4 straight. And secondly, I don't think they're going to beat Dallas. So it's and we'll get to that in my picks. But yeah, I think they're afterthoughts now. Tampa Bay, right? Tampa Bay at the beginning of the season, a lot of people were saying, is this team the best team in the NFC? With Baker getting these game-winning drives against inferior teams. But I don't know, man. They're afterthoughts at this point for the reason that Carolina has stepped up. And Carolina is neck and neck right now in the division with them. So we will see if I do think they will win their division because of their schedule, not because of their team. But they are afterthoughts. And then we have the Chargers and the Chiefs, and I'll talk about them both at the same time because they obviously have a game remaining against each other, but one of these teams is going to miss the playoffs. I don't know which one it's going to be. I have faith in both of them, honestly, because of Harbaugh and Mahomes. But once again, we never know. I mean, the Chargers' schedule remaining is not easy. I think they have another Denver game. They have a Kansas City game. They have a Philly game. So you never know if they're going to get in. And at the beginning of the year for the Chargers as well, after their first 2, you're thinking, oh, my gosh. This is the year. Harbaugh already did it. It's not the case. Their tackles got banged up too quick, and it's not much you can do with that. They got the X's and O's. They don't got the Jimmys and Joes. And the Chiefs just straight up dug themselves a hole. You would have thought, dang, are they going to make a 4th straight Super Bowl? At the beginning of the year, I sure did because I didn't see anybody else stepping up to dethrone them. Actually, I did pick the Ravens. But still, there was a very realistic world where the Chiefs make it, and they still could. But, yeah, we don't know. They're definitely not locks. All right? Let's move on. Who would have thought, right? The who would have thought tier. And the reason I have these teams up here, right? Dallas not even in the playoffs right now. But the reason I have these teams up here, you never would have thought these teams would have been as successful as they are right now in this point of the season, all right? The Colts, I know they're on a 2-game losing streak. I don't think it's time to panic, right? Obviously, you have Daniel Jones. If there's a reason to panic, it's because he's your quarterback. But offensively, I think their roster is still pretty stacked. Defensively, obviously Gardner went down, but I still think they're not horrible, right? They do have a lot of divisional games against Jacksonville and Houston, so we'll see if they drop. But as of right now, who would have thought Daniel Jones would have been leading this team to this 8-4 record? Sure not me. I thought they were going to be last in this division. No, 3rd worst in this division. But man, they're blowing everybody away right now. And obviously, like I said, they're on a 2-game losing streak, but hopefully they remind everybody of their capabilities soon. San Francisco. Okay, San Francisco is the most injured team in football, especially defensively. And the fact that they are doing, and Kyle Shanahan is doing what he's doing to get this team to where they are right now, and Christian McCaffrey is absolutely putting the offense on his back. Mac Jones stepping in, doing what he needs to do. This is a well-run operation at the end of the day. And this year they've proven it. Obviously their schedule, I picked them to make the playoffs because of their schedule. It was very easy, but you got to give credit where credit is due, right? They beat Carolina a week ago when I think Carolina is just as good of a team as them, but there was just a coaching mismatch in that one. So, yeah, I don't know. I think they've done more than we would have thought. Dallas, who would have thought? 3-5-1, 3-game win streak, 6-5-1. Are we talking about this team getting into the playoffs? And a lot of the discussion has been, if they get into the dance, no one wants to play them. And that's a fact. No one wants to play them right now. And with Brian Schottenheimer, with this defense, trading Micah, you never would have thought this team would have been here right now. But here they are, competing every week for a playoff spot. Every week is dire, and you got to win 5 more games, go on a 5-game win streak. You buy yourself a ticket to the dance. All right, let's move on to the Bears. All right, the Bears. Who would have thought? Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams. After Caleb Williams looked how he looked last year, Ben Johnson, his first gig as a head coach. This is the 1 seed, guys. This is the 1 seed, and some of you might want them higher, right? But this is the 1 seed right now, and they are absolutely their run game is impeccable. Ben Johnson is an absolute genius. Caleb Williams has taken certain strides in his, just him being safe and him making the right throws, him becoming a winner. 2 great backs in the backfield, 2 explosive receivers. I think Zacchaeus switched his team so much that I forget what team he actually plays for. I think he's on the Bears right now, and he's a good team for every team he goes to. And then their defense, I think, is actually getting better. Jalen Johnson came back last week, and I think their other corner did as well. I forgot his name. But, yeah, man. That is the who would have thought tier. And what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 more tiers left. This is our top 2 tiers. Boom. Next tier. Kryptonians. what do I mean by Kryptonians, right? Kryptonians, Superman, right, are some of the actually not some of the highest level beings in the universe, right? You look at this squad and they have some units, or this tier. No, not this tier. This level of greatness. And you see that all of these teams on this level of greatness have a superpower, right? Start with the Broncos. Wait, I didn't explain my reasoning for titling it Kryptonians. They have a superpower, but unfortunately, just like Superman, every Kryptonian, if you put kryptonite around them, they will perish, right? So the Broncos, their superpower, their defense. It is amazing. It is fast. Super Bowl culture in Hufanga and Greenlaw, right? They have guys that have been there before. They have one of the premier pass rushers and Nick Benito on that defense. They have pretty good skill guys. Obviously, losing J.K. Dobbins hurts, but they're not the worst group of skill guys. Their kryptonite, Bo Nix. Not too much to be said. We've watched him play all year. A lot of Broncos fans are going to try to defend. Well, he's good in the fourth quarter. Don't care. If he plays like that in playoff games, it won't be good enough. Straight up. Seattle. Their defense, once again, this defense is just as crazy. These first three teams, let me just get it out the way. These first three teams' defense is amazing. Nothing short of amazing. These are the three best defenses in football, in my opinion. And they fly around the field. They got guys that can go get the quarterback. They got guys in the back end that can lock people up. And in my opinion, Seattle's kryptonite, Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold still in a big-time moment has not shown me that he can get the job done, straight up. Houston's kryptonite, their offensive line. I still don't know if I believe in it enough for them to make deep playoff pushes, especially when you got to play in cold places in the AFC. And if they can't run the ball and they can't protect CJ, there's nothing they could do. And then we got the Buffalo Bills, who have a different type of superpower, which is their quarterback. Straight up, their quarterback. And when you're playing Josh Allen, you never know you're going to win because it's Josh Allen. He could do anything that to get his team over the top. He could also lose games, but let's just take his risk taking out of the equation. I'm not going to call that their kryptonite. Their kryptonite is their skill guys for me and their defense. I don't look at their offensive skill position group and see like, oh wow, this team is brilliant. I mean, Josh Allen is doing all these. No, that's not the case. It's just Josh Allen being Josh Allen, and James Cook is also a great running back, but their defense is atrocious, guys. Their defense is atrocious. And arguably, I shouldn't even have them this high, but I do believe in Josh Allen. And at this point, their record and their status in the AFC, when you think about their experience compared to all the other teams in this conference, I like Buffalo, and they're not playing bad football like Baltimore. I think Baltimore is legitimately playing bad football right now compared to who they are. And then the top tier. Oh, my gosh, I keep saying tier, guys. We're going to get this fixed in the next episode of Miller's 8 Levels of Greatness. The top level of greatness, cream of the crop. It's the cream of the crop, guys. And obviously, I've been a little scared on my Eagles. I talked about that this week in another video. But I look at the teams below, and I just cannot fathom having a team above my Eagles. Oh, well, the Broncos beat Don't care. All right, we outplayed them the majority of that game. I'm just not a believer right now. We're literally the Super Bowl champions. I just believe in that pedigree over whatever Bo Nix and them boys got going. All right, so Philly, in my opinion, is still the cream of the crop when you consider their roster and their championship pedigree. It's going to be a lot to overcome. Also, their resume is impeccable. 2 of the teams beside them on the cream of the crop tier, they have beaten. One of the Kryptonians they've lost to, obviously, but they will beat another team on the Kryptonian tier when they beat Buffalo. Don't prove me wrong, Philly. And they beat, other great teams on this list, like they beat Dallas week 1, beat Detroit, beat Tampa, obviously, and then beat Kansas City. We may beat the Chargers this coming week. So if that's our resume, then you can't argue having the Eagles at the cream of the crop tier. The Patriots simply look like the best team in the AFC, the most well-rounded team in the AFC. Drake May looks amazing. This defense looks amazing. This head coach looks amazing. The only thing right now that they're struggling with is that running game, and I think it's progressing. Obviously, Stevenson was out for a little bit, and they got him back, and him and Henderson, they just look like good backs, right? Their O-line isn't great. You wonder if that is a problem, and, a team like Houston, Denver, if they will be able to get after them in the playoffs. But as of right now, they just look like the best team in the AFC. And then we got the Rams. The Rams offensively, Matthew Stafford is just playing at a different level. You got the best receiving group in the NFL over there. And straight up, if this team gets hot, they've already showed their playoff pedigree, won a Super Bowl a couple years ago. The Rams should be at the cream of the crop tier. Roster, head coach, everything. Everything they're on top of the tiers. And I think the most controversial pick would be the Packers, right? On this one, or maybe it would be the Eagles for some of you guys, but the Packers, right? The Packers, in my opinion, they're just good. They're just freaking good. Their defense flies around. They have one of the best pass rushers in the league, and Jordan Love at his highest level, which he hasn't proven to us yet that he can reach in the playoffs. And usually I'll take points off for that, but for some reason in my heart, I just feel like Jordan Love, when he gets into the playoffs this year, he'll perform. And if he doesn't, I'm done believing in that guy for the remainder of his career until he proves me wrong. But I just think with the skill guys they have, it's extremely underrated, guys. They have good backs, in my opinion, a good enough O-line. They have Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson. Christian Watson, when he is healthy, is at least a 1A type of receiver. Maybe not a 1. Christian Watson is a good receiver. Romeo Doubs, Dontavian Wicks put himself on the map last week. Obviously, losing Tucker Kraft hurts. But I just think this team is levels above a lot of the teams below them. So I have the Packers at the top of Miller's 8 levels of greatness. All right. Thank you guys for tuning into that. But we are moving on to my picks at this point. Let me stop this recording because I have to screen record this to, technologically sync it up with the recording I'm doing right now. So, yeah, if you guys want to know how to do that, just, hit me up on the gram and I'll let y'all know. But it's not important right now because we're talking about my picks. All right? This week, I got 5 picks for y'all that y'all need to listen up to. All right? First, Dallas, +3 at Detroit. All right? And I was thinking about this for a while, and Detroit's it almost seems like there's no way Detroit can lose this game. There's no way we've seen what we've seen from Detroit these last couple of weeks, and they'll just slip up and lose to the Dallas Cowboys, a team that is accustomed to losing these types of games year after year after year. And that could be very much true. That still might happen. But roster-wise right now, Dallas is coming off 2 wins that they never would have won before, right? And roster-wise, those DBs can't keep up with Pickens and CD. Goff really has nobody to throw over in the middle. And in the middle, guess who's coming after him? Kenny Clark and Quinnen Williams. I just think as far as a matchup goes, I still think Detroit is very talented as a football team. But I think Dallas, based on their roster, is able to exploit the right mismatches in that matchup. And, man, I got Dallas +3, man, so take that. Arizona, covering. +7.5 against the Rams. Nobody in the NFC West likes playing Arizona. And like I stated early in this video, Arizona's played pretty good football this year. They haven't really got blown out a lot of the time. They've lost a close one to, if I'm recalling right, San Francisco. They've lost a close one to Green Bay. This is not the worst football team in the league, guys. They're struggling a little bit. But I do think they will cover. And 7.5 is just a lot of points in a divisional matchup at the end of the year. And I know the Rams are going to come out hungry, trying to prove a point that Carolina game was just a fluke. But Arizona, even if they backdoor cover, get a field goal to cut it to 6 points, and it wasn't really a close game, 7.5 is a lot of points in a divisional matchup. So give me Arizona. Cleveland, -3 against the Tennessee Titans. Yes, I think they will cover against the Tennessee Titans. Titans are a hard watch, guys. Titans are really, 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 really hard watch. It's hard for me to watch them, guys. I mean, I said it 4 or 5 times. They're hard watch. And offensively, I have trouble seeing them doing anything against Myles Garrett and his defense. And I think the offense will just do just enough to put them over this 3-point mark. And, yeah, man, I just think at this point they're better coached, better defensive unit. I would say they got a better running back. That's probably all I'll give them right now. But, yeah, I just got Cleveland. Next, we have – why did I put the Cardinals twice, guys? I'm sorry. Let me move on real quick. We're going to talk about Houston. Sunday Night Football against the Chiefs. They're underdogs, 3.5-point underdogs against the Kansas City Chiefs. All right? Guys, Houston is just playing better football right now. Houston is on a 4-game win streak. They got C.J. Stroud back. Even if they lose by 3 points, obviously they cover. And I think that's what it could come down to. A late drive where Patrick Mahomes has the ball. He drives his team down the field and they make a game-winning field goal. That could very well be the case. But without the Chiefs' top 2 tackles, it might not even get to that point. Houston might win this game outright. And those Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter are just going to have a freaking field day. A freaking field day in this. And I know it's in Kansas City once again. I think it's Houston time, man. I think it is Houston's time. And I'm a big believer in Houston. If they win this game, everyone else will join the party. All right. And then the last one that I didn't even put in my picks because I forgot, Cincinnati. 5.5 point underdogs in Buffalo. Right? I already told you guys I'm a big Joe Burrow believer. I'm very delusional about this organization. I just love watching them play. I love watching Joe Burrow play. And I'll probably have them in all of these picks until they lose. But to cover 5.5 against the Bills, who can't guard, once again, their defense is horrendous. And Cincinnati, in my opinion, has been playing better defense the last 2 weeks against the Patriots and the Ravens, who obviously the Ravens haven't been playing great football, but they have guys on that offensive unit. And in my opinion, the Patriots are one of the best offenses in football. So if Cincinnati is playing defense like they have been, and the Bills are not guarding anybody, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins on the outside, Joe Burrow's going crazy, I think the Bengals could straight up win this game outright. But to cover 5.5 points, just lose by 5, Cincinnati. All right, guys. Sorry, my camera died. But my 5 picks, Dallas +3 against Detroit, Arizona +7.5 against the Rams, Cincinnati +5.5 against the Bills, Cleveland -3 against the Tennessee Titans, and Houston +3.5 against Kansas City. I just did that off the top of my mind. Am I that guy or not, guys? But thank you guys for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you like this little session that I just had going. I want to do it more. But yeah, y'all just let me know. And yeah, peace out.